The defensive side of the ball wins championships. That's an age-old saying. I think that Baylor is going to have to replace a few guys this year to get back to the top. But as we've discussed, I think there are some really good pieces of the puzzle there in Waco that give these guys, or at least put these guys in a position to go make a run at a back-to-back Big 12 title appearance. Let's move on, guys, to a team that we discussed a minute ago that's been at the top. My alma mater, one of my alma maters, the Oklahoma Sooners, completely new face, right? And Coach, you've got a son on the team up there, so you got some inside scoop for us. But, Coach, I'll go to you first. What are your thoughts on the move at Oklahoma? We talked about AD. What has the athletic director done there in hiring Brent Venables? And what do you see out of Oklahoma going into this campaign this year?
I just like I talked about Mac Rhodes, I mean, who's a younger version. I mean, Joe Castiglione's been there before Bob, hired Bob, right? In 99. I think one of the reasons they've been so successful over time is the consistency of the administration. They know what they're looking for. It's kind of like the Dow Jones, right? It's going to be slumps. There might be a depression, but historically, with a really good product, everything's going to keep climbing. And they brought Brent back, who's been a part of that, who saw the national championship days, who saw how things were built with Bob. Obviously there's that piece. Brent being at Clemson and being around, Dabo, the national championship deal, got him outside the system, but brings that with him. It'll be interesting. They've had a number of their players that transferred, really good players, including, in my opinion, one of the better players in the league with Caleb Williams. So, a guy who won games by himself at the quarterback position, whether we want to say it or not, he did. And so for that guy to be a freshman, to be that young a player, and a couple other guys to leave and go west, that hurts any program. I mean, you're not talking about just a good player or a starting quarterback. You're talking about a player who can win games for you at a high level. So the replacement of those guys and playing defense, and we all know, that they're going to play good defense because Brent and the guys who are there now offensively, and Bryce, you know this, Jeff Lebby knows what the hell he's doing. So he's been around. He's been waiting for this opportunity, and he's been waiting to do his own thing. And so, it'll be real interesting to me to see if they can get the pieces together, because they're always going to have talent. They've got them. Marvin Mims is as good as there is, but everybody knows that. What about the other supporting cast? Who are the running backs going to be? Who's going to throw this thing? I mean, consistently to them, which they struggled with last year. And with you think about it, over the last 2 years, those two guys are gone, right? Two dynamic players at quarterback. So, what that looks like, everybody's going to say on paper, here's what it is. But until you guys know this, until you catch that first snap, right, and things come at you, it remains to be seen.
Bryce, Coach made a great point there. Two of the top-rated quarterbacks still, even after transferring and the turmoil that happened in the country, departed from Oklahoma. We bring in a guy named, and I say they bring in a guy named Dylan Gabriel, who's got a lot of experience. But what are the expectations for Venables and this new staff? Is it a conference championship or bust because you wear the OU emblem on the side of your helmet? Or is it, it's a rebuilding year because you got a new head coach, and even though he's a good defensive guy, what are the expectations from your standpoint there?
Yeah, look, I don't think that you have the luxury of having a rebuilding year at Oklahoma. That's not what they hired you for. I know Coach is giving me that face too. I think that anybody that said that, hey, it's okay to have a rebuilding year, you're not the right guy for the job. And I don't think Venables or Lebby or anybody over there, cares to even use that term. I think that what they're going to do is go put their best product on the field. And Venables has been doing this for a long time. I mean, those defenses at Clemson were knockouts now. And he's been in a system. I think this is one of the more interesting hires to me, because I think that Venables could have been hired 15 years ago. What he has done in his tenure at Clemson under Dabo Swinney, I think he was just waiting for his, the perfect move. And it just so happened to be that this was that perfect move for him. Going out and getting Jeff Lebby was probably one of the best things that could have happened, because it fits in the Big 12, which I think is a very interesting time right now, the Big 12, because it's not a whole bunch of air raid. Right now, to me, I think you're seeing a hell of a defense in the Big 12, and I think you're seeing a lot of running game. I mean, if you look at, especially even last year, you got Baylor, you got Oklahoma State, even, OU, and the guys aren't putting up crazy numbers in the air like what we've, predominantly seen over the last, 10, 15 years, and the Mike Leach and of the Texas Techs and the Gundy's even, in the early to late 2000s. So all that being said, I think it's a different league, and then what Jeff Lebby brings in, what he showed that he can do against the SEC is what he knows that he can do against the Big 12. So I think seeing that Dylan Gabriel and him have already had this connection at UCF, Dylan Gabriel's been in this system before. I think he's going to, there is no transition outside of just colors, right, to him in terms of the helmet that he's putting on. And to Coach's point, I think Marvin Mims is going to be that guy for him. That's a big part of this Jeff Lebby system, is who's your guy on the outside that can win, and running back by committee. And so I think that they're going to fit right in there. But no, I don't think that they have the luxury of a rebuilding year. I think it's a boom or bust kind of thing. And they're going to go try and win a conference championship.